Should we try Zach again? You there, Zach?
Yes, I am.
Hey, thanks for waiting.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm great. Matt, we talked on Facebook the other day, by the way.
Okay.
I'm that dude. I was just wondering what you thought brought the universe into existence.
Don't know.
You don't know?
Nope. Do you?
Would you admit that it would have to be something beyond the universe's characteristics?
I'm not quite sure what you mean by beyond the universe's characteristics. See, I don't know enough about the actual. See, we can't get back beyond the Planck time, first of all. And I don't think I have enough information about how the universe was formed to make any sort of statement about it at all, other than we don't yet have an explanation.
Well, the way I understand it is the universe hasn't always been here. It actually came into being. So that would imply that
it depends very much on what you actually mean. So we have, for example, Big Bang cosmology, which describes the expansion of the universe beginning at about the Planck time, but it doesn't actually tell you what the beginning was, and we don't seem to be able to actually investigate that. We've got exactly one universe. We don't have a time machine. And so there are a number of different things, including multiverses, where there are universes popping up from different places. There are a number of different possible ideas, and I don't know that I have enough information to make any kind of declarative statement about which one is more probable. Why does it matter?
But in every theory, even in say the multiverse, when you concede that they're implying that the universe originated from a place beyond its current space-time dimension. Even the multiverse would be a place of a different space-time or a different...
I would agree that the multiverse model would have a universe originating out of something that was not what the universe is, yes. But that's not
okay.
That's not the only model, and I don't know that it's the only possibility. I'm wondering why this is a big deal. I mean, do you know how the universe came into existence?
All I know is that most physicists in modern cosmology says that it came into existence, implying
so that there's a description.
There was no space, time, or dimension. So
no,
there is a state in which there is no
Zach,
space, time.
So no. See, when they talk about space, time with respect to our universe, that's the space and time of our universe. Either did not exist or existed in some other form that we don't know about. But so we have this space that we're inhabiting, our local presentation of the universe, and even, like they'll talk about time beginning with that, but they're talking about our local time. Everything is in terms of the local presentation of our universe. Now, all the models point to that coming into existence or beginning or expanding or coming out of something else we don't know. But I'm still wondering if you have an explanation for that and why it's an issue if I don't.
No, it's not an issue if you don't. I was just putting forth the idea that if you understand that the universe came into being, then that would also imply that there was a state in which no space or time existed.
Sure.
So there would be something greater beyond it.
No. Even if I were to concede that the universe came into existence at some point under the way you've described it, that doesn't mean that there's something greater. First of all, greater's not defined. I don't know what.
No.
So let's say for a second, just hypothetically, that the entirety of our universe, all of space and all of time, at some point did not exist and it came into existence. What conclusion can you then draw from that?
You can draw from that there is a place, or
a place.
In my case,
what is a place?
An entity that is beyond
Zach,
our dimension of
Zach,
space and time.
Zach, what does it mean to say there's a place when you just said that at one point space didn't exist? Do you have any examples of a place without a space?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I couldn't describe to you the details of that different form of space and time.
I'm talking about the fact that the language. No. The fact that the language you're using borrows from things without demonstrating it. So when we talk about there's a place, we are always talking about a place within this universe, a space. I don't even know that the concept of outside of space-time makes any sense. I don't know how anything.
Of course it does. When it's been proven that space-time came into being.
But that doesn't, even if it came into being, that doesn't mean there's something outside of space-time.
I mean, there has to be some sort of something that
Why?
caused it to exist.
Why? And what does it mean for something to exist outside of space and time when existence is necessarily temporal?
It would mean that there's a model such as the multiverse or some.
But that's not necessarily outside of
space-time.
space-time. That's not necessarily outside of space-time. That's outside of
I
our
would
local.
caution that you review the science if you don't think that's something beyond space and time.
Okay, we're done. I mean, if you're just going to caution me to review the science, one of us has actually reviewed the science, and the other one is making extrapolations that they can't justify. You want to guess which one's which?
All right. Well, I'll present something different if you don't want to go with the cosmological argument. Does the Fibonacci sequence mean anything to you? That's found within our universe?
Sure. What about it?
Would you say that's a sign of intelligence?
No.
Like perhaps a creator?
No.
What about information found within DNA that can only come from an intelligent mind?
No.
As far as we've observed.
How did you determine that sort of information can only come from an intelligent mind when all observations about that particular information shows that it comes about by natural processes?
We've never seen it come about by natural processes.
You see DNA replicate all the time and change.
But never come about originally.
Okay.
We've only
so what?
seen
So
information
basically, you're saying that the origination of DNA, which we don't know, we don't understand, we haven't observed, that comes. Okay, but you've cracked the code and you've determined what it must be and that it must be from an intelligence.
No, I'm not saying I've determined 100%. I'm simply.
I don't care. I don't care if it's 100%, Zach. You're saying that it must be from an intelligence. How did you reach that conclusion? You're not.
The type of information that we observe within DNA has only been seen to come from a mind.
That's
when
just
has it
wrong.
ever been
Go
seen
ahead.
to come from when has DNA come from a mind? Like, when have you observed that any more than we've observed it arise in nature outside of existing chains?
I'm saying we have observed neither, but
right. So why would you make assumptions?
The type of information that is seen within DNA has only been observed. Has only been seen.
What do you mean type of information?
The type of information in DNA is DNA information, and I have never seen it come from a mind, ever.
I'm not saying I have. I'm saying that.
Yeah, so why would you be saying that?
So decoded information that completes a goal, like a recipe or a book.
Well, recipe is different than DNA. I don't see recipes generating themselves from other recipes, like out in nature, but I do see DNA replicating itself in nature. So a recipe is not quite on par with DNA.
That's true, but I'm saying the nature of the information itself, like
you just agreed
wait a minute.
that
Okay, wait. Let me run this by you, right? Okay, we see if it rains, we might observe that a pond forms. Correct. So we watch this pond form in nature. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there are ponds that exist that we didn't see form, right?
Correct.
And sometimes there are people that build ponds. Or like I can go to the store and get a plastic pool and blow it up and make my own backyard pond out of a plastic pool, right?
But even in the pond analogy, would you assume that the water is always needed to rush into a lower level or something like that?
Wait, no. The question that I was going to ask is, if you see a person make an artificial pond.
Correct.
Does that mean that then we should say that all ponds are artificially made by a mind and that a pond cannot just simply arise naturally by natural processes?
I would not think that's correct at all.
Okay, so if people can make information and relay information such as a recipe, isn't it also possible that they can arise naturally, and just because you see minds creating them, that doesn't mean that all of them are created by minds?
Well, I couldn't say it's possible for it to arise naturally if I've never observed that.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that we have examples of things that people can create artificially that we know arise naturally. And you're saying that because a mind can create a code, that all codes must be created by a mind, or that at least that's how you're getting to the idea that a mind would be creating DNA.
Could I reverse that analogy on you a bit and say that when you see a pond form, it's water is always required?
Sure.
And
Sure.
when you see information that not all information, but information that is coded and it actually completes a goal. The only time you've ever observed
What's the goal? What's the goal? What's the goal?
Well, no, because human minds didn't make DNA, and what I'm.
But you don't know that. I mean, not human minds, obviously.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that simply observing that a human being can do something is not evidence that only a mind can do it. We mimic things in nature all the time.
I would agree with that statement. But I would also say that the only time we've ever seen coded information that completes a goal is with a human intelligence.
If you ignore all the examples that are not human intelligent created.
Yeah, you have to throw out everything that disagrees with your.
Like what? I mean, just
like DNA.
Like DNA.
Human minds did not produce DNA, and we do see it in the natural world around us.
So let me ask this side question. Do you have any evidence of minds that can create information outside of the thinking beings that live on this planet?
Without bringing up extraterrestrials, I would say no.
Do you have evidence for extraterrestrials?
I don't have any examples of extraterrestrials.
I think they're pretty well documented, actually.
You think extraterrestrials are pretty well documented?
Well, if you look at undisclosed military files and strange videos and et cetera, yeah.
And we've left the stratosphere. We're like...
I'm torn between hanging up or just letting you talk until you continue to make yourself sound ridiculous. Why on earth do you find... Why on earth do you find... Well, why on earth do you find the stories of extraterrestrials? I'm assuming that you think extraterrestrials have visited the Earth?
I'm not sure.
Well, you just talked about classified military documents. Would there be classified military documents about extraterrestrials that didn't visit the Earth?
I'm not one of those guys that say like, oh yeah, they came in.
Zach, you just talked about classified military documents.
Well documented.
Well documented. Sorry.
It's well documented.
And what the hell were they documenting that you found so compelling if it's not aliens visiting Earth?
Well, I would say there's a difference between like visiting the Earth extensively, like on Ancient Aliens and stuff like that.
Zach, what the is well documented? Why can't you just answer the simple question? I asked what is it that was well documented that you find convincing?
There's just been several stories of, like planes chasing them around,
stuff
like that.
A story is not
Thank you for well documenting your credulity.
All right. Well, that was an interesting call.
Yeah.
Well. Whatever. I'm glad Zach called.
I'm not. I can't lie. I can lie. I just won't. So yeah, this thing. So I loved your example about the ponds because it exposes a particular fallacy and it exposes the direction of fallacy. And when Zach tried to kind of respin it, saying, but it'd be like him saying we've only ever observed ponds coming from human beings,
right?
Which you were going to get to, which is if we'd only ever witnessed human beings creating ponds and no ponds coming about naturally, and we had no reason to think that, what would our conclusion be? Well, we might mistakenly conclude that this one's more probable, just because that's what we've seen. But that is basically the no black swan fallacy, that all the swans I've seen are white, therefore there are no black swans. You can't use that as a foundation. And when you start talking about the information coded in DNA to achieve a goal, you're already making all kinds of mistakes because first of all, there's disagreement about whether or not the genetic code should be viewed as a code and viewed as information in the same light as other things, because what we're talking about are chemicals and chemical interactions. Now, when Zach extends this to, they achieve a goal. Well, no, a goal requires forethought. A goal, when a rock starts rolling down the hill, it doesn't have a goal of reaching the bottom. Okay? Goals are things that are set by minds. And this is the mistake in viewing DNA in this manner that Zach was talking about when he says, it achieves a goal. No, it really doesn't. It's not like evolution in the natural world has some plan and we are the pinnacle of it, like humans were the goal. we tend to look at things and stick those words on them to make them easier for us to understand. Like a gene has a goal of reproducing itself. Does it? Or is that just what it does?
Right.
The idea that there's a goal there pollutes the conversation and is what allows you to get to, oh, well, it's information and it has a goal, so therefore it comes from a mind. You're imbuing it with a goal because you're observing what it does.
It's loaded language.